Good morning. I'm Commissioner Christian Leinbach, and I want to welcome you to the Berks County Board of Commissioners meeting for Thursday, January 27th of 2022. We're broadcasting live via Microsoft Teams live event, also on BCTV, as well as Facebook and YouTube Live. At this time, I'd like to recognize my Executive Assistant, Anne Marie Grill. Anne Marie?
Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach. Public comment will be accepted in person and through the Q&A function. Please include your first name, last name, and municipality for all comments. Any comment without name and municipality will not be considered. Each citizen can submit one comment. Comment length is dictated by limitations of the platform being used. Teams Q&A, Facebook, YouTube. In-person comments will be accepted first, followed by comments submitted virtually. The meeting comment period is limited to a total of 30 minutes, including both in-person and virtual comments. This time period may be extended at the discretion of the board. Please be concise. Comments that are germane to county business will be read during the meeting and should not be considered to be an interactive dialogue with the commissioners. The county solicitor shall be the final arbiter of whether a comment is germane and should be read. Any commissioner response to public comment will be done at the discretion of the commissioners.
Thank you very much. We will begin, as we always do, with a moment of silence, followed by a pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're going to make a slight adjustment in the agenda. We're going to move the Berks County COVID-19 report to the end of the agenda. Are there any additions or corrections for the January 20th Commissioner meeting minutes? Hearing none, the minutes will stand approved as presented. We did have an executive session yesterday, January the 26th, dealing with contract negotiations, personnel, and litigation. At this time, I'm going to recognize Commissioner Michael Rivera. He is going to be presenting his 2021 accomplishments as well as his goals for 2022. And he will be followed by Commissioner Barnhart, and then I will conclude that part of the presentation. Commissioner Michael Rivera.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Leinbach, and good morning to everyone. Before I get started, I just want to let everyone know that at 10:50, I do need to jump off the meeting here for another meeting I have this morning, in which we will be presenting the CCAP 2020 legislative priorities. So I'll be on this call till 10:50. So looking into the goals for 2021 and a brief overview, because I know a lot of these goals were also the goals of my colleagues, and I'm sure they'll have other things to add on to it. But one of the goals was working cooperatively with the city of Reading, and some of the things accomplished there were we had a joint committee working on homelessness during COVID. We carried out various COVID initiatives together. We support and coordinate planning efforts with the city of Reading. Pamela Shupp is a member of the city's Downtown Plus project team. The county, recognizing the importance of the plan, committed to incorporating strategies from the Downtown Plus plan into the county's economic development plan currently underway. We're also working cooperatively with the city's professional economic development leadership to support developers and investors interested in the city. And the county will have representatives on the city's land bank program steering committee, and the city is included as part of the technical committee of the Tri-County Passenger Rail Committee, and monthly meetings are held between Commissioner Leinbach and Abe Amorose, who's the managing director, to keep the city fully informed of what is going on. So we've had a good relationship with the city of Reading, and we look forward to continuing that in 2020. In reference to the focus on COVID, we've had a number of financial support to businesses and nonprofits throughout 2021. In reference to businesses, there were grant dollars provided to local Berks businesses through CARES Act and other funding streams of $23,059,432 for a grand total of 1,039 grants to support our local businesses in Berks County. Something else that was put into place in cooperation with the Greater Reading Chamber Alliance was the Rebuild Berks Buy Local program. We also had the testing sites, vaccination sites, as well as community outreach and community education. Under budget and spending, we saw no tax increase in 2022. We made necessary changes to minimize the impact of county finances due to COVID. We also ended the year in a strong financial position, maintaining our AAA+ stable outlook rating. And we continue the SET team, which is the savings and efficiency team, continues to meet on a monthly basis to discuss opportunities to be more efficient and how the county can save money. In reference to economic development, excuse me, we're working on regional collaborations. We work with the South Central PA County partners to prepare a comprehensive economic development strategy for our region. And this regional approach strengthens our position as an important driver of the economy in Eastern Pennsylvania. And after reviewing the current capacity of our current Department of Agriculture, we created a deputy director position within the department. The position is responsible for coordinating ag resources and identifying support mechanisms that are in place or could be put in place to assist our important agriculture sector. And this is something we will continue to work on as well, because this sector of our economy remains an integral part of the county's diverse industry sectors and our economic resiliency. In 2021 also, we have been successful in evaluating the economic activity at the airport. The Reading Regional Airport Authority is currently working on 3 potential developments on aviation and surrounding non-aviation land, one of which will allow for a major expansion of an existing company. We recognize the airport as a major asset for the county and will continue to actively support continued development. And we continue to work to meet the needs of our local employers for a more prepared workforce. So those are the goals for 2021, and then the outcome of them. Now, looking at the goals for 2022, a lot of the ones for 2021 will remain in effect for 2022, and one of them is budget and spending. I have a goal of no tax increase in 2023. As for SET, the savings and efficiency team, we're going to continue to seek ways to save taxpayer dollars and to be more efficient through the use of more technology, ways for residents to interface with the county electronically rather than having to come into the building, and seeking also input from staff as to ways we can be more efficient. Also want to look at better uses for county property. How do we make the best use of the property at the North Campus, at the South Campus, at the what we call the downtown campus, which is the services center, and the courthouse, looking at what departments currently have outside leases as well as MDJ offices, how we can minimize those leases and make the best use of the properties that the county has. We're going to continue the relationship with the City of Reading administration, continue to work together and see what other ways, apart from what we are already doing, we can find ways to combine our efforts. The third one is the ag community. I want to continue to work on determining if a co-op or consortium or some other type of group would be beneficial in Berks County to be able to get our local businesses to buy from local producers. So rather than having the schools, even the jail or the Berks Heim or other businesses and restaurants ordering from vendors from outside of the county, can we bring a group together to have them buy locally? That's something we'll we've been working on and will continue to work on, as well as matching up and connecting local producers and processors with school districts, institutions of higher education, local businesses, and county departments. The ARP, as you all know, we got around $82 million, and I want to make sure that the money is used in the best way possible to provide a long-term benefit to the County of Berks. And one, we need to determine what the needs are, and two, based on that, then make sure that we're using the money properly, using the money as a resource of last funding. In other words, using other dollars first to use the ARP dollars for things there are no other dollars for. Item number 5 is economic development. We'll continue the support of entrepreneurs, continue the business attraction, course development, and upskilling, excuse me, which is an issue that has come about various times through the ARP committee that we have on business, the need for upskilling the labor force to meet the needs of the workforce that's coming to the County of Berks. There's also the economic development strategy in place, which is Imagine Berks Economic Development Action Plan. I'm going to look at that, and that should be finalized this year, and then based on that, determine what would be next for the county. And also continue to work closely with the Greater Reading Chamber of Lions, the Berks County Industrial Development Authority, the Berks County Redevelopment Authority, and other entities to continue economic development in the county. Under elections, I have 2 items. One is election reform. As a second VP of CCAP, I want to continue working closely with them because there's power in numbers when we have more counties reaching out to the General Assembly. For CCAP, the top priorities are pre-canvassing prior to Election Day rather than waiting to Election Day to do that. It will save both time and money, and moving the mail-in absentee ballot deadline to 15 days before the election rather than 7 days. And there's other meaningful reform that needs to be done at the state level to promote clarity and consistency across the Commonwealth, such as in the use of drop boxes, naked ballots, and ballot curing, and the ever-changing guidance from the Department of State in relation to elections. The second item under elections reform is our elections department. We will be getting a new director, and I want to make sure that the person has the resources they need to do their job properly. We want to focus on staff development and retention and processes and systems to improve the efficiencies that we saw in the last election. Other areas which are of importance, which I'm going to be keeping an eye on as well. One is passenger rail. That initiative is being led by Commissioner Leinbach, so that's in good hands. I also want to keep an eye on what transportation, and there's a lot of needs for our 422 corridors, 222 to Allentown, and so forth. So as part of the Regional Area Transportation Study Committee, I will be keeping an eye out on that as well. We're looking at the new jail. Some things that are important for me is that it's right-sized and right-staffed. Now we're looking at the best financing options to have the smallest impact financially on the county, and that we have proper diversionary programs and are able to reduce recidivism. Again, this is an initiative that is being led by Commissioner Barnhart, so it's also in very good hands. Also looking forward to seeing what the results of the health study are to, based on that, see what direction we move in. Looking forward to what the strategic plan says for the Reading Regional Airport Authority, and then determine on that, is it best to move into the county hands? And if so, how does that work? And what should the authority be focusing on to grow the airport? Those are my goals for 2022. I didn't want to go into too much detail because of time. So with that, I will open up to any questions that I have from my colleagues or anyone else on the call. Unless we want to leave questions to the end, I will leave that up to our chairman.
We'll leave questions till the end. I'd like to recognize, and thank you, Commissioner Rivera. I'd like to recognize Commissioner Kevin Barnhart.
Thank you, Commissioner Rivera and Commissioner Lineback, and thank you, Michael, for going first because I think I crossed off 12 duplicate items. I just want to emphasize that all three of us are actively engaged full-time on all of these projects. Some are more immersed in projects than others, but that's really just a time constraint. I'm really, first of all, proud of all our county employees and what they've done, especially through this pandemic. Primarily our essential workers, those 24/7 operations, they've really been there day in and day out for, I guess we're going into year 3 of the pandemic. And I'm just so darn proud of the county employees. I can't do what I do to help move this county forward successfully without the 2,100 employees coming to work each and every day and making me proud to be a commissioner. Just want to focus on a few things that were accomplished in 2021, and these could be accomplishments of the board and or myself. I'm part of a team. I think our Do Your Part Berks.com website is a great resource, and I want to thank Stephanie Weaver for that. We refinanced several bonds last year at historic low interest rates, saved the taxpayers millions of dollars. Our partnership with Cook County Wellness and its contact tracing, I think, is a real positive for 2021. Opening up the vaccine center at the Muhlenberg Center, providing free bus service, as well as partnering with Cook County Wellness, Area Agency on Aging, and the libraries really helped to coalesce a lot of the vaccines when they came online. Proud that we promoted Jeffrey Smith to warden April 4th of 2021. He's doing quite the job since April. One of the things I wanted to report every year, and I seem to forget sometimes, is the county local use fee, the $5 fee that's added to your registration each year. We are utilizing that money for the design and construction of the Pinnacle View Bridge in Albany Township. So I know there were naysayers in the beginning who said, I wonder what you're going to do with the money. We are working on the construction of the Pinnacle View Bridge in Albany Township with that money. The South Campus, that's a great initiative of 2021, where we're going to be moving the archives and elections and the book bonanza. MDJ office and others will be following. It's been a real find for the county and the partnership we have with the Redevelopment Authority. Lots to celebrate at the Youth Recreation Field up on County Welfare Road, working with Big Show. They have turfed most of the baseball fields. They're in the process of turfing the soccer fields and providing additional lighting. We have resurfaced all the parking lots, and there are other upgrades like a pavilion in the near future. Want to reconstitute the readingbridges.net. We were kind of on a hiatus because of funding, but now that we feel that there is initial funding for the 422 bypass, which looks like initial plans are out to 2027, but time flies when it comes to construction. So we're going to really start to market and promote the improvements that are going to be coming to the West Shore bypass. We instituted the On the Road meetings in September, December this past year, getting out to the public at 7 o'clock in the evening on a Thursday to meet with the general public. I think that's worked well. The Mount Penn Preserve continues to flourish. We are finalizing plans on a trail from the Doubletree to the Pagoda. And we had our first ever Music on the Mountain on August 12th at the Liederkranz. And one of the things that's been in the pipeline for many years, but we finally had one built, was the Magisterial District Justice Building for MDJ Fegley down on 422 in Exeter Township. And they effectively moved in the end of December. That's a great prototype of what we think are things to come as we find a need to relocate MDJs for space needs. This is really a great opportunity we had with the Redevelopment Authority. Moving into 2022, a lot of things roll from 21 to 22, but we're going to be putting together and approving our Berks County Corrections Facility Steering Committee, which will be small, but will be including a lot of people as time goes on, as needed over this 4 to 5 year process of building a corrections facility. Elections, a lot of exciting things. South Campus will be providing the proper storage for the equipment. We'll be instituting electronic poll books in the spring. We have several new staff members joining us this year, and we're really going to knuckle down on policies and procedures. And as Michael pointed out, the CCAP Elections Reform Committee, which I'm a member of, really have to continue to pressure Harrisburg for some fundamental changes in the election code. Some other quick items, we'll be looking at applications and reviewing applications for rescue dollars. We will see the final results of Imagine Berks, the economic development plan. Very curious about the opioid settlement, how that impacts money coming into Berks County over the next, I think it's 15 to 18 years. And this will support efforts by SOS Berks and the Council on Chemical Abuse. Look forward to, like I said, more improvements at the YRF. I, too, am curious as to the results we will be receiving from the request for information on community health needs and outcomes. And I also serve on the RATS committee, and I'm looking forward to where some of this infrastructure funding will help our roads and bridges in Berks County. And last but not least, I think we're making headway finally, as we're not one of the main players, but we are one of the players in the museum, the Reading Public Museum. Hopefully we'll find a positive resolution in 2022 to that ongoing legal battle regarding the museum. So that's what I have at this point. I tried to keep it concise, but if anyone wants any additional information about my goals and objectives of 21-22, please give me a call. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Barnhart, as well as Commissioner Rivera, for sharing results of your 2021 goals and objectives, and some, if not all, of your goals and objectives for 2022. If I'm going to go into my goals and objectives, I've posted in the published area in the comments on Microsoft Teams Live my email address. If you have questions specifically about my items, feel free to reach out to me. My goals and objectives for 2021 were presented on December the 10th of 2020. Number one, and this is always number one with me, is continue to focus on the budget. We made a commitment that the final vote would not include a tax increase. When I made these goals and objectives, we had not yet voted on that. Results, there was no tax increase in 2021 in county property tax. Additionally, as it affects finances, the Savings and Efficiency Team leadership changed from Commissioner Barnhart to Commissioner Rivera at the suggestion of Commissioner Barnhart. And I think Commissioner Barnhart would agree that Commissioner Rivera has done a great job. Also, during 2021, we did not restart the jail initiative. That was a decision made in early 2020 to put that on hold because of the expenses that we anticipated from the COVID pandemic. Under elections, I had set out objectives on elections reform, election department staffing, implementation of recommendations that were given to us as a result of the 2020 elections. The results, the website for election results view was improved significantly. We also changed and were able to provide in 2021 taking mail-in ballot and absentee ballot vote totals and posting them at the same time as in-person vote totals were posted on election night. That meant there wasn't a dramatic shift that we saw in 2020. We provided better access for observers for the pre-canvassing effort, specifically is what was requested. On the downside, the new director hired at the beginning of 2021 resigned prior to the general election. and some challenges occurred around the 2022 election that either have been or are being addressed. The CCAP top 2 election reforms were not accomplished. In fact, there was no election reform accomplished by the legislature and the governor. Under COVID, I made a commitment that we would continue to do what we are able to relative to the impact on Berks County businesses and county residents. We opened the Berks Cares Vaccine Center. We continued to promote the doyourpart.com website as a COVID resource and vaccine resource. Stephanie Weaver has done a great job managing that. Brian Gottschall clearly became a key voice on COVID-19 data reports, which he still is today. And the Berks Health Advisory Panel, a volunteer, non-taxpayer funded local health advisory panel, continued to serve, providing recommendations based on solid health professionals' information. Transportation, not a whole lot of great things. The Berks 222 corridor and the West Shore bypass are still two critically important areas. The funding, some people think the funding has been solved by the bipartisan infrastructure bill. There's not nearly as much money in that relative to 222 and the West Shore bypass as some would believe. Also in 2021, PennDOT decided they could raise a lot of money by tolling 9 bridges on interstate highways in Pennsylvania. And then the last item I touched on was passenger rail service. I made a commitment that I believed we were going to form a passenger rail committee in 2021 and that we would see positive movement. The results are we did form a passenger rail, Tri-County Passenger Rail Committee in early 2021. And we began to work on details to form a Tri-County Passenger Rail Authority. And we made presentations this past fall to municipal leaders, state elected officials, and federal officials about passenger rail service. Moving forward to 2022, my objectives: number one, budget and spending is critical. I want to highlight, we now have gone, this is our 15th year with a total of a 10% increase in county property taxes. That is responsible fiscal management, and all 3 commissioners are absolutely committed to this as a number one priority. We need to be smart with our money. One of the ways that we do that is watching our head count. In 2008, we had 2,132 full-time employees. At the end of 2021, we had 1,777 full-time employees. Even the part-time employees, 2008, there were 459, 2021, 320, and there's no tax increase set for 2022. I mentioned the set. We're continuing the savings and efficiency team under Commissioner Rivera, and we are committed when it comes to ARP dollars that those dollars should benefit those most seriously impacted by COVID, and that projects that we want to fund are projects that provide long-term benefit to the people of Berks County. Under elections, restructuring the department. A new director has been offered and accepted a position. That individual will be joining us in February. Later on the agenda today, you'll note that we are hiring another key staff member, and roles and structuring the department is underway. I'm excited about where we're headed. We're looking at full rollout of additional technology with electronic poll books, and we continue to update policies and procedures. Election reforms are still a hot issue. Pre-canvassing, moving that back to 2 or 3 days prior to the election, and moving back the mail-in absentee ballot deadline are still critical issues. There are people that, because they waited till the last minute to apply and tried to do everything through the mail, 7 days before the election, their ballots weren't counted because they came in after Election Day. I've got to be blunt. I don't think the House leadership is really interested in election reform. Based on what I saw in 2021, the results speak for themselves. Nothing happened. Those are the two critical issues. Of course, we need to address issues like drop box rules, clarifying signatures on mail-in and absentee ballots, dealing with the naked ballot issue, cleaning up voter rolls, etc. We also are committed to better election equipment storage, maintenance, testing, and overall training that will occur and be finalized later this year at our new South Campus. And I just want to make a note, keep an eye on the mail-in ballot case in the Commonwealth Court. We expect a decision on that shortly, and it deals with whether or not mail-in ballots are constitutional as they were put in place in Act 77. Transportation, I noted already in the funding, that continues to be a problem to fully complete 222. The 222 corridor and the West Shore bypass, they are number one transportation projects. Berks County also has taken legal action the beginning of this year to stop interstate bridge tolling. Obviously, we're most concerned about the Lenhartsville Bridge on I-78, but we are joined with litigation from 3 municipalities in Allegheny County, and a number of municipalities have already joined us from here in Berks County to challenge PennDOT and their methodology that concluded bridge tolling was a good idea. We think it's a horrible idea. Passenger rail service is continuing to move forward. We anticipate that a Tri-County Passenger Rail Authority will be formed and voted on by Montgomery, Chester, and Berks County in the next couple of months. There's a key piece to understand here, and that is because I believe it will happen, we form a passenger rail authority. The normal formation of an authority forms an authority for 50 years. This resolution that will be coming before the 3 counties does not do that. It requires another reauthorization of the authority in 3 years. That guarantees that we're looking at this from a practical standpoint. We're looking at cost. We're looking at the viability. And in 3 years, every one of the counties are going to be forced to look back and make a decision whether we reauthorize the authority or not. COVID, unfortunately, continues as a pandemic. I'm hopeful that we may have peaked, but only God knows exactly where we are in that process. The Berks Cares Vaccine Center is continuing, run by Penn State St. Joe's. The Berks County Health Advisory Panel, local healthcare professionals that live and work in our community, continue to meet and make recommendations based on their knowledge and experience. I personally pray that 2022 will be the year we exit the pandemic, and my words to everybody in this very difficult time: be kind, be respectful, be gracious. The new county jail was mentioned. That is a major issue. We're moving forward on that. Commissioner Barnhart is leading the effort. The highlight I want to make here is I highly doubt we will actually vote on the next steps on building and the methodology of building until the end of 2023 or early 2024. Right-sizing the jail, getting the right information is all very important. The Berks County Health Study is underway. It will be completed later this year. I'm committed to a careful review of those study results and carefully reviewing possible actions and recommendations that the study makes. And then finally, the Reading Regional Airport. We're committed to the strategic plan that is on our agenda today. I also am committed to ultimately seeing the Airport Authority become a direct county department. The airport is an important piece of county government, has been for a long time. And with that, I am going to jump into our agenda. We are pretty tight. Anne Marie, are there any public comments on specific agenda items?
No, nothing on a specific agenda item.
Okay, thank you. Under authorizing, Budget Department, adopt a resolution authorizing 2022 budget transfers in the amount of $964,493, 2021 appropriations in the amount of $23,352, and 2022 appropriations in the amount of $1,769,740 per listing dated January 21st of 2022. Item under controllers, one item, adopt a resolution authorizing payment of $10,702.92 for an earned income tax penalty. I was going to ask Sandy to weigh in. I'm not going to ask her to weigh in at this point because of constraints on time. Under human resources, we have several items. Authorize the appointment of Caitlin Wisner to Enterprise Support Technician and Information Systems. Item 2, authorize the promotion of John Santoro from Judicial Coordinator, Court Administration, to Elections Project Supervisor in Election Services. Item 3, authorize Megan Knoll, Fiscal Officer, Workforce Development Board, to work out of classification in the Assistant Director of Workforce Development position. Item 4, authorize Matika Palmer, Fiscal Coordinator, Workforce Development Board, to work out of classification in the Assistant Director of Workforce Development position. Item 5, authorize to remove a stipend in the amount of $70.50 per pay period for Abby Rigdon, Law Clerk 1, Court Administration. Item 6, authorize to add a stipend in the amount of $7.50 per pay period for Amy Rothermel, Law Clerk 1, Court Administration. Item B, adopt a resolution authorizing the execution of the mutual non-disclosure agreement between the County of Berks and RX Benefits, Inc. for the Employee Prescription Benefits Plan. Purchasing, adopt a resolution authorizing the award and the Director of Contracts and Procurement to execute as a result of an invitation to bid a 2-year contract for processing and marketing of recyclable material as follows. It goes to Kugel's Recycling out of Hamburg, total estimated annual expenditure of $1,400. Several items listed under the Commissioners. Item A, adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to execute a letter to the Pennsylvania Department of Human Services relinquishing the Family Center grant agreement and transferring responsibility of the grant to the Berks County Action Program. Item B, adopt a resolution authorizing a contribution in the amount of $5,450 representing 1/2 of the cost of the Reading Regional Airport Strategic Planning Study. Item C, adopt a resolution accepting the proposal from Berks Fire Water Restorations, Inc. in the amount of $27,608.36 for professional services to be performed at the South Campus facility in Mountain. Item D, adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to execute the Memorandum of Understanding between Berks County and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees offering incentives to Department of Emergency staff due to staff shortages attributable to COVID-19. Item E, adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to execute the certification of county funds for the 2022 program year to the State Bureau of Farmland Preservation for the appropriation of county matching funds in the amount of $1,301,324 for the purchase of agricultural conservation easements. Item F, adopt a resolution authorizing Brandy Nider, Berks County Children and Youth Administrator, execute a memorandum of understanding between Berks County Children and Youth Services and Schuylkill County Children and Youth Services to establish guidelines and address funding criteria for the use of Schuylkill County licensed resource home. Item G, adopt a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Gail Landis, Leesport, PA, to the Berks Area Regional Transportation Authority and the South Central Transportation Authority, both for a 5-year term expiring on December 31st of 2026. Item 2, a motion to authorize execution of contract agreements and amendments as set forth on the attached listing dated January the 24th of 2022. There are 13 contracts, 4 with the Area Agency on Aging, 1 with the Berksheim, 3 with Children and Youth Services, 1 with Court Administration, 1 with the Department of Ag, 1 with Information Systems, 1 with the Berks County Jail, and 1 with Juvenile Probation. Item 3, a motion to authorize execution of the payments and electronic transfers as set forth in the Controller's Office voucher listing dated January the 27th of 2022. Item 4, a motion to authorize execution of employee payroll disbursements dated February 1st of 2022. And for item 5, I am going to recognize our County Solicitor, Christine Sadler.
So Commissioners, there was a request made to amend the agenda this morning to authorize local EIT payments and local services tax from the fourth quarter of 2021. The reason why it's being added as a late addition to the agenda is because those totals were just finalized late in the day yesterday. So we need to have a separate motion and vote on adding it to the agenda, and then it can be considered under the Sunshine Law to the regular vote that's being conducted today.
Correct. And the other issue is it's due Monday. So
Correct.
There's no time to do this at another time.
I
will accept the motion.
The agenda.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded to add item 5 formally to the agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried.
Motion to approve the total agenda as presented.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded to approve the total agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried. Very good. Thank you. And at this time, I'm going to recognize Brian Gottschall to provide the COVID-19 data report. And I think there's actually some good news for a change.
Yes, correct, Commissioner. Thank you very much. Hopefully this report will be both brief and more positive than some recent reports have been. We can see here in our case count slide that we have clearly significantly peaked over from where our maximums were just about a week and a half ago and are on the downside of that curve. What we, of course, hope to see is that curve get down to where it was in July of 2021, but we don't know the answer to that yet. We're, of course, watching data from other jurisdictions, South Africa being the earliest one where we first saw Omicron appear, and they had a similar case count spike or peak that then came down to a plateau that was significantly lower than the peak, but still well above where they had been in prior to their Delta wave, which was also much smaller in South Africa than it was here in the United States. So still a lot of looking to do, a lot of things to understand, but certainly good news is in front of us right at this moment. Throughout the United States, we continue to actually see more counties moving into high case transmissibility. And I want to emphasize that the The goals to get below high case transmissibility are very aggressive goals, both with respect to the number of cases per 100,000 unit of population, as well as the percent positivity. So it's kind of oxymoronic to look at that last slide where we said there's great news and then look at this slide with all of the red. But I do want to emphasize that getting out of red is very difficult, particularly given the very high transmissibility that we see in Omicron. Our pediatric cases very much reflect our case count in the community. We talked last week about how that slope looked very alarming going up. It also is very significant coming down, but it does mirror as a percentage of all of our cases in the community where we would expect these pediatric age groups to be. We again have a concern or a problem this week with Penn State St. Joe's and their ability to report on their census in their hospital. So we see hashes through the St. Joe's cells again, but looking specifically at the tower numbers, we see a marked improvement in our hospital numbers related to COVID, much as we saw in our community cases. This is actually even better news than we would have hoped for, because we generally see that hospital indicators lag behind the case counts and then deaths lagging behind the hospital indicators. So it's really good news that we're seeing these hospital indicators improve this week, almost in parallel with our case count. And we hope that that's not an anomaly and that these numbers continue to look like this moving forward with ongoing improvement as our case counts come down. Also great news, our influenza numbers. We've spoken for the last couple weeks how we saw a downward indicator in our influenza numbers and hope that that wasn't an anomaly that was going to go back up. And I hesitate to say this because data is so hard to trend and predict, but it seems to me that after now 3 weeks of significant downward numbers, we might be able to say that the influenza season for 2021-22 is coming to a close and is going to continue to decline into the spring months as it normally would. Said more simply, that this was an early and less severe influenza season. Is that due to COVID mitigation measures that are being put in place? Is it due to some other factor? I don't think we can answer that definitively, but we can certainly say it's good news. As far as current events and things on the horizon, the one big thing that I think should be in everyone's view is the Omicron BA.2 subvariant. This is a change to the Omicron BA.1 variant that we've been dealing with. Still awaiting a lot of lab and real life data to help us understand what this means. But I would argue that presently there's reasonable justification for us to be optimistic. We see transmissibility is indicated as being actually even higher than Omicron BA.1. So it is even more communicable than Omicron BA.1 was, although not nearly to the percent increase that we saw from Delta to Omicron BA.1. However, the severity of the disease appears to be very much the same, that meaning that it's not nearly as severe for those who contract the disease as Delta was. The vaccine appears to be equally effective. Again, that means not terribly effective in preventing you from getting the disease, but effective in preventing you from getting severe illness and dying from the disease. And then the big question remains about natural protection. So if someone was infected with COVID in the last 5 or 6 weeks when Omicron BA.1 was the predominant variant in the community, does that give them actual immunity to BA.2? And that's a question that is very much left to be answered yet. The other item that we want to mention is the COVID testing site that is here outside of our facilities at 2561 Burnville Road. Got some good news earlier this week from DOH. They have indicated that they are willing to extend that site yet again, this time through the 12th of February, Saturday the 12th of February. So the site will continue to operate in the way that it has from 10 to 7 on Tuesday through Friday and from 9 to 3 on Saturdays. And will continue to operate for that full time each day unless they reach the 450 test maximum. I also want to mention to the public that we're anticipating significant improvements in test processing times, both due to the fact that testing interest has waned in the community, and I don't just mean our community, but throughout the Commonwealth, which means that there's now more capacity to handle the tests that are coming in, but also because DOH and the vendor have put in place some new processes related to both the laboratory processing of the tests as well as the notification process on the back end. So I apologize to the members of our community who who did seek testing at the site and had a less than ideal experience with respect to those test turnarounds. But I want to emphasize that we expect that we're over a hump in that regard, and we anticipate that we are going to see significant improvement in how that is handled. And just as a final reminder, we do ask that people enter the test site off of Van Reed Road following the red arrow on the map. If you don't take note of it now, you can always go to, oops, sorry about that. I ended the slideshow abruptly, so we'll just leave it this way. Can go to the www.doyourpartberks.com website, where they can find out information about the test site as well as all kinds of other information on COVID and COVID vaccination. With that, Commissioner, I'm back to you unless there are any questions.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Brian. And yes, that was an abrupt ending, but not a problem at all. At this time, I want to recognize our Berks County Treasurer, Dennis Adams, with the County Treasurer's Report. Dennis?
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have an opening balance today of $173,368,359.69. A balance to clear of $4,738,776.26, leaving us with a balance of $168,629,583.43.
Thank you very much, Dennis. And now we'll move to our Berks County Controller, Sandy Graffius, with the Controller's Report. Sandy.
Okay, I'm going to do speed talking like you did to try to get us back on track. First of all, there was an interest payment for Berks EIT of $10,702. I'd just like to highlight that. When we did our bank reconciliation at the end of the month, we found out that the money had not been paid to EIT, at which time we released it. And then they came back to our payroll department and said that there was interest due. And so as a department, we're accepting this responsibility and paying that money. As you know, at the end of the agenda, we added the quarterly payment for EIT and the local service tax, and the amounts for that is $336,917.93 for the EIT quarterly, the local service tax $10,733.20. Now then, our accounts payable for 1/27/2022 is $5,804,679.12. We had electronic payments. The total payment register is $7,839,047.63.
Thank you very much, Sandy. And at this time, we will move to our Chief Administrative Officer, Ron Seaman.
Thank you, Commissioner. The only thing I'd like to do is once again call attention to the opportunities available in our County Parks Department for the month of February, beginning with the Winter Wellness Walk on Saturday, February the 12th, and then the Snowshoe with Your Sweetheart event on February 16th, and Snowshoe 101 on February 19th. All of those taking place at the Berks County Heritage Center. And then lastly, on February 26th, at Grings Mill Park, Maple Sugaring 101. More information on these can be found on the Parks Department webpage, on the county's webpage, or at their County Parks and Recreation Facebook page. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ron. I appreciate that. There are no reports from my colleagues, and I think I also have said enough relative to 2021 report and 2022 goals and objectives. With that, I'll open it up. Are there any comments from our row officers? Hearing none, Anne Marie, I know that we have one public comment. Could you please read the public comment?
Yes, certainly. Good morning, Commissioners. At last week's meeting, a few members of the public asked that you consult with a reputable, data-driven, research-based nonprofit that works for criminal justice reform. I was able to have a conversation with a woman from the Prison Policy Initiative. She was well-versed in practices and policies that lower prison populations and build more just societies. The great news is that the Prison Policy Initiative provides their services to governments for free. They have reviewed jail assessments for counties across the country and found ways to help them safely reduce their jail populations. The Prison Policy Initiative is willing to provide Berks County with free services that can help accomplish many of the stated reform goals of county leaders. Build a more just society, reduce the impact of new prison on our debt service, and save every taxpayer in this county money. Please make an appointment to speak with them. Thank you. And this was from Crystal Kowalski in Wyomissing. And then we have one from John Archer, Spring Township. Good morning, commissioners. Each and every commissioner deserves a very strong commendation and appreciation for a job well done in both reporting out this morning on your 2021 year agenda accomplishments, as well as the new 2022 year agenda and expectations. As you know, while you as commissioner are leading the charge and the direction of our county government services, and as you have acknowledged, considerable thanks also goes to the county workers for their diligence, professionalism, and hard work that supported your agenda in many ways. The efforts of Berks County officials and staff demonstrate how important the concept that you win with people. And
I think that completes our public comment.
Yes, it does.
As always, there's an opportunity for comment, and I have a unique opportunity. Both of my colleagues are off this particular meeting, so I can say whatever I want, and they can't respond until next week. And I'm kidding, but seriously, I am working to provide my goals and objectives on a link, potentially on the county website. I also have a personal website. I plan to post them as well. In looking at this, I think it's good to put the record out there. This is what I'm projecting and what my goals are. And it's another way that the public can hold us accountable. John is also absolutely correct. And we say this often, but you can never say it enough. Our county government is successful not because of 3 county commissioners. We play a role. We have a visible role, so there often is the assumption they are the county. But we 3 are not the county. The county is composed of, as I shared, almost 1,800 full-time employees and over 300 part-time employees. And every one of those people have a role to play, whether they're a department head or they play a role that nobody sees. I can tell you, if we didn't have the team we have, we couldn't be as effective as we are. And that even comes down to the budget. We often look at fiscal issues, and it's people in our departments that often give us the ideas that help us find a better way to do things. I can tell you that earlier today, one of those ideas was presented to the commissioners from our Chief Information Officer, and it came through Commissioner Rivera's Savings and Efficiency team. I think it's a very good idea, designed to save time, save money. And so that's something that's being looked at. That idea didn't come from me. It came from the organization. It came from the team. We're stronger as a team. Finally, on Crystal's comment, again, we said this before. I'll reiterate it again. We have a committee that has been put together. It's being chaired by Commissioner Kevin Barnhart. I believe we're going to be talking a little bit more about this at an upcoming operations meeting, and we're looking at everything. If there's information out there from other organizations, we will be looking at that as well. I can tell you we've received emails unsolicited from entities outside of the county, offering opinions, ideas. We're looking at all of that. That's why we have CGL on board. That's why there's a public and transparent part. And over the next almost 2 years, you're going to see that. And like I said in my comments, I don't anticipate making a decision, a vote on which strategy we're going to accept for a new jail until the end of 2023, possibly even the beginning of 2024. And I want you to keep in mind, we already spent, I think, almost a year and a half or 2 years pre-CGL and then with CGL prior to the COVID pandemic, making the determination which made more sense, a new jail or renovating the existing jail. And when you looked at the data, both cost and time is money, it made no sense to renovate the existing jail. It wasn't good for the taxpayers. It wasn't good for the inmates. I believe it was going to be a 7-year project, moving inmates around as you tried to renovate various aspects. So that portion has already been done. It's on the public record. We've shared a lot of data on the pros and cons of both of those sides. Now we are committed to a new jail, and we're committed to the most efficient jail that is right-sized, that continues to focus on programming, that looks at the issues of recidivism, that deals with the best way to help individuals that come into our criminal justice system to get out and not come back. And the county's record on supporting those types of programs with Berks Connection pretrial services, with the R3 program that they have. February 7th, the Returning Citizens program that will continue. It's been going on for several years. It's at the Doubletree, and that is for individuals coming out of our jail or coming through our treatment courts. Berks Connection pretrial services help them prepare a resume. They take them through live practice of interviews, and then in an adjacent room, there'll be anywhere from 20 to 30 local businesses and organizations that are hiring and will be interviewing various individuals. So I'm proud of what we've done on criminal justice reform. I'm proud of how we were proceeding with the jail, and very supportive of the leadership that Commissioner Barnhart is showing by leading that effort. That is all that I have. Seeing that there are no other commissioners on the call, I would just put it out to my immediate leadership team. Is there anything else for the good of the order? Hearing none, I am going to adjourn the meeting and thank everyone for joining us.